Yeah, it's, you know, for all those who've gone through this, and I know many of us have, you know, it's my first time as a parent, and it was just a whirlwind first, just because you're on the plane, you had to go practice, and you're thinking, you know, you're practicing, not thinking about it, and then as soon as you walk off, you are, and you're prepping, and, you know, Lisa went with me. I'm in Houston coaching the trip, and when it really, for me, it was really, really emotional after the Houston game. I mean, I didn't really make it to the locker room, and so our guys were awesome. Just being around those guys, like an extended family. What made it really tough was having to add another 2 or 3 days to the road trip. So yesterday was great. I didn't come in the office yesterday. We had to do arrangements all day, and you know, I've got family. I've got my wife, my kids, and then my brother and my mom who needed me. So you know, I tried to come back to them and spend most of the day with them yesterday. I hadn't seen them before. I hadn't seen them since I walked out of the hospice room. So it was good to get back. It was good. It was refreshing. It was, you know, I'm in a better place right now, I think, and you know, really excited about, you know, focusing on what we're going to do this week.
When you're going through something like that, you know, obviously it's not all wins and losses, but the win on Tuesday, and obviously there was emotion afterwards. Was that extra meaningful to have a win in the midst of what's been kind of a wild week?
Well, we had to get it. We had to have a win. So, I mean, I think, you know, we've got to do our job. That's what my dad would always say, do your job. And, you know, down 13-01, I think it was what my wife said that they were all watching the game together, and they kind of got pissed off at my dad a little bit. You know, like, hey, show up here, help out a little bit. But, you know, we started playing better. So I don't know how to really answer that. I just know that our guys really came through in the second half and did the things we needed to do. And I didn't think we did that for most part of that game. So if I'm not answering your question, I'm not sure that answer.
Kind of a unique situation when you come in and have two seniors like Tre and Jarron, one is player of the year, another one coming into his fifth year, guys who have played a lot. How did you approach that situation entering into it? Like,
beginning
coach, yeah, starting the year as a coach of those two guys specifically, yeah.
Well, I think, you know, it's a very unique situation, and I mentioned this before. You know, I've had many of my guys that I, you know, rely on, and some really, really, you know, successful coaches saying you've got an interesting task in front of you this year in terms of having a veteran group who knows how to do certain things really, 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 really well, and then you're going to come in and do it completely differently. And so there was, you know, a lot of conversations, a lot of talk. You know, I had to acquiesce. If I had to acquiesce, yeah, let me know if I'm using that term right. And then, you know, I think we've kind of found some middle ground as the season went on, and understanding of how to utilize those guys best. So.
You talked early on about wanting to, I don't know, honor and make it worth it for those guys to come back, that you didn't want to just only look ahead, you know, down the road. Why was that such a big deal to you?
Well, because I thought those guys had given so much to this university in terms of their commitment level and the winning that they've done, two of the winningest guys of all time. And, you know, Keith Williams has done the same thing, so I felt like those guys deserved our best for this year. And I think, you know, I was my senior year, Billy Donovan left and went to Florida, so I know what it felt like for the coach to come in. And, you know, when a new coach comes in, it's like year one's year one. It's like their legacy is built on the future years and how they produce and the teams they put on the court. And, you know, Billy could have, when Billy left, Greg White took over, and he could have done that, but instead he really focused on that senior year and helped us, you know, win a regular season title. And I want to do the same for this group, so it really resonated for me when I was a senior.
You had any kind of a refuge release, whatever you want to call it, since Saturday morning, and what would it have been?
Doc, I haven't. The only thing that I did out of the ordinary was I walked USF's campus. We were in a hotel on the morning of the game. I never would get out of the hotel. And I walked their campus for some reason on Saturday morning. Just
to kind of clear your head, get your head straight? What?
Yeah, pretty much. You know, I mean, you sit in front of the computer watching tape all the time, and then you get a text. You got a lot of texts, which is great, and then it takes you back a little bit, takes you where you're currently at. And so I think that really helped out a little bit. It's the first time I've ever really done that. So I guess that if there was a release, that would be what it is.
Weather probably helped with that too.
It did, yeah. The fact that I could go outside in shorts. No question. Good point.
It's a good campus. Nice.
The side I was on was, yeah, I didn't walk around. I didn't walk along.
jump to the other seniors, Jaevin and Chris, that's a little bit different. They have to put a certain amount of trust in you coming into a new program, but also just kind of one that's a new coaching staff. What did you tell them to convince them that that would be the right decision?
Those guys want to play in the NCAA tournament. You know, I mean, Jaevin played against me for 4 years, and we're the ones going to the NCAA tournament. You know, Chris, you're selling going to the NCAA tournament, so we still haven't accomplished that yet. So that's something we still have to work to accomplish for those guys. That was the big sell. Man.
Senior night can be pretty emotional for your players. How do you manage that and keep them focused on the task at hand, especially when you're playing Temple that night?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I've even looked at maybe doing senior nights after the game's over, just to take away that emotion piece, because it really is emotional. And you know, the thing that I'll tell the guys, I haven't had this conversation with them yet. You know, emotion fades. So you'll be emotional, you'll have great emotion. One thing that fades, passion sustains. So you got to sustain your passion for what you're doing, and you know, for what we have to get done. Understand what we have to get done. And you have to take that emotion out of it. And we're gonna have to talk about that today. We're gonna have to talk about that a lot leading into Saturday, because you're dealing with two of the seniors who, you know, are crowd favorites, and you know, they put a lot into this institution. And you know, they got to understand that the best way to honor you on senior night is to go out winning, and that's the piece that I got to get across.
There's always a lot of talk about seniors playing with urgency, but have you ever seen anything like what Tre's done over the past 6 weeks, where he went from really good to unbelievable in just the flip of a switch?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, he's that's why they always say, you know, the teams that can really advance and have success have to have great seniors, and Tre's exactly embodies that. But I go back to, I'm not surprised by it. People are like, why not? Just because his consistency. His consistency is there every day. I mean, he works. He deserves the success he has.
Jarron's kind of in that player of the year conversation because he got preseason one of last year, and then the way he's really played in conference play. But Tre seems to have kind of played himself at least into that conversation too. Is that, I know you have to vote on that stuff. Do you talk to guys about that?
I can't vote on my own guys. I don't think I put in all the other leagues. So.
But do you care about that stuff at all?
Well, I mean, I do, because I think I want those guys to give acknowledgement. I think they're both player of the year candidates. You know, I put them right at the top of anything. So I'd probably put Tre at the top of defense as well. So yeah, I want those guys to receive what they deserve, because they put so much into this season. They've had outstanding years, and we don't talk about it, and they don't talk about it because that's not their makeup. It's an honor that I'd like for them to hopefully achieve.
I know not much time has passed since Tuesday night. Have you had a chance to evaluate Jarron or kind of see where he is for Saturday's game?
No, it's the lucky part. I don't get to evaluate the physical stuff. I don't get to make those decisions. Like I always say, I'll meet these guys after this. We'll find out. But I mean, I'd be surprised. You know, I don't know, no practice. You got to be careful with it. So we got a limited amount of bodies right now.
Is the hope that is there still a chance that he could play on Saturday?
I have no idea. We haven't been updated all on it.
You've had a couple of games now where you get down double digits in the second half, and you come back and won a few of them. What goes through your mind in that moment where there's 13, 14 minutes left and you're facing a big deficit? What are you thinking in the moment?
Which game?
Any of them.
I mean, they're all different. You know, this past game, I was thinking, okay. You know, I think I said this on my radio show. This is how we go about, let's say, getting stops or offense. We'll say it defensively. It's, if we're not getting it done, let's go harder. We weren't going harder. It wasn't happening. So we don't get it done initially, let's go harder. Well, we weren't going harder. Let's sub. Down the bench, there's really nobody to sub. Let's change the scheme. Well, we changed the scheme about 3 different times. So finally I'd run out of the coaching 101. I'd run out all 4 of those. So I looked at the guys at 13-minute time. I'm like, we have to figure something out here, because I don't have anything left for you right now. You have to make a decision. And in that moment, I think they made a decision. We got back into the press, and they started making plays. But I don't want to rely on that. I think this team is occasionally relying on that. I don't. You know, this team doesn't compete every possession, and it's one of the things that I really struggle with. Is, that doesn't happen with my teams. So we need to learn to compete every possession, and we're not doing that on a consistent basis, and particularly on the defensive side.
In those moments, are you always thinking like the game, or do you ever say or let yourself think like, if you want to go to the tournament, we have to win this?
Well, they understand that. I mean, we kind of talked a little bit about that before the game. But in the moment, you got to take care of what's in the moment. So.
John, if you do have to go without Jarron, what did you see out of this team? Obviously, a lot on Tuesday night.
Well, I've seen it throughout the year. I mean, we haven't had Jarron. I mean, Jarron hasn't practiced a lot most of the year, so we practice a lot without him. And then in games, he's had missed, I think, second at Vermont maybe, missed several full games. And so I think that helped us for Tuesday because we have such a balanced scoring attack. I mean, we didn't have an All-American in my mind, and we scored 79 points, I think.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure, you do that in the past or early in the season. I think it's something that guys have grown accustomed to understanding their roles despite the fact that he may not be out there.
You talked about he's missed a lot of practice. I mean, we've kind of known he's been banged up. We've seen it. Has he been, I guess, maybe a lot more banged up and dealing with a lot more than maybe even the outside world knows?
Well, I have no idea what the outside world knows, but I know that it's really hard to play the game of basketball when your feet hurt, consistently. And I think it's obvious when he really feels well. He plays really well. So I just, when we met at the hotel, I said, I just want you to be healthy. That's all I want. So it was, I just want him to play healthy. And I think when he does, he's as good as anybody in the country.
You mentioned that the guys don't compete on every possession defensively. Do you have a sense of why that's been such an ongoing issue for this team this year?
I do.
It's just something that you're just dealing with.
I am.
Is your offensive success maybe partly to blame for maybe taking some defensive?
The guys have mentioned that in passing a few times, the feeling that they can score whenever we want to, whenever we need to. I'm not completely buying into that, but it's been mentioned.
Anything else?
Yeah, did those 4 days between Saturday morning and Tuesday night tell you anything about yourself?
I think the biggest thing it told me is how reliant I was on my dad and how he kind of, my wife texted me a text that said, your dad's always taught you how to do hard, and I think that was probably the biggest thing I learned is just some of the things that he taught me throughout the years and, made me go to the coach if it was about playing time or stuff, I had to go do it. He never intervened on anything. And it was like, almost like your parents preparing you for a moment, like he was preparing, hey, I'm not going to be here forever. It's probably what I learned the most, how to get through hard a little bit without him there to help.
Is there do you remember any words of advice, wisdom that he might have given you that you're leaning on right now?
He would always tell me the cream always rises to the top. And he said, just, and I share this with the guys, he would always tell me, and I've taken it into my ranks now, but he told me as a player, he would always say, the only person that can stop you from being successful is yourself. No referee, maybe that's why I don't get on the refs, no referee, no opposing team. If you have a bad game, it's because of you. Nobody else can stop you. And I've kind of used that for our guys. This is some advice that I give the guys. It really doesn't matter what the outside sources are or whatever hits you. It's up to you to make it work. And that's probably over the next 4 days, we had to figure out how to make it work. And so we put everything in we could into South Florida.
It means a lot. I mean, just knowing, just being here for 4 years, just all the love from all the fans and everything, it's going, it hasn't hit me yet, but
Yeah.
on that day, it probably will.
Yeah.
Like he said, it's gonna mean a lot. It's gonna be a great feeling, when we walk out there, be with our family, holding our jersey, knowing that it's our last time playing the Fifth Third. I know we both got a lot of memories together. Just for it to be our last time to play here, interact with the fans, hear the fans scream and get crazy. I'm not gonna get too emotional. I'm not gonna cry or anything, but I'm gonna miss it. I'm most definitely gonna miss it.
You gonna cry, Jarron?
No.
Are you both willing to promise that?
I promise you, I'm not gonna cry. I promise you, I'm not.
Jarron, coach just said that, he hasn't had a chance to kind of look at your evaluation yet. Obviously, it's a quick turnaround, but it seems like for you, being your final game here at Fifth Third, you're going to do everything you can to play in this game on Saturday. How much do you want to be out there and have an impact on this game?
I'm gonna be out there. It's my final game. Right now, I'm just doing treatment and everything, trying to get 100%.
How difficult has this year been? I mean, John said obviously you kind of see it when when Jarron's right, you see it, and when you're not feeling right, it kind of shows up as well. How much of a challenge has this year been for you, Jarron, just trying to make sure your body feels right so you can be the best version of you?
It's actually been it's been a huge, a big challenge for me actually. Just knowing I haven't been 100% the whole year and everything, and I know I haven't been able to give everything to the team. But I mean, just coming out there knowing I can make an impact in the game, it helps a lot.
Do you think with the time off maybe after Saturday to the tournament, will that be enough time for you to get close to 100%, or is this just something you're going to have to play with for the rest of the season no matter what?
That's something I don't know. It's just keep treating and just trying to get it healed.
Chris, having a chance to impact the game the way you did on Tuesday, how meaningful was that to you heading into something like Senior Day, your last game here, to feel like you were really able to be a critical part of winning a big game for the team?
I mean, it was big, I guess, just to actually be out there and start to get in the flow of the game again, just in case I have another opportunity to do it next game or in the conference tournament whenever I'm called upon. So that was big, but just being a part of the win was the best part of it for real.
How frustrating has it been? You're a good shooter, but you've struggled knocking down shots.
Mm-hmm.
How frustrating has that been, and how good did it feel to see those two go in the first half?
Yeah, I mean, it always feels good to see the ball go in, just because, I mean, it's always a confidence thing for real when you're steadily making them, but I haven't really looked at my shooting issues as a problem. I just kept working and just trying to do whatever it takes to win. Those threes are just extra, for real.
Your role's changed a lot as this year's gone on, but then you come in against Wichita, had some big plays, big moments, obviously against USF the other day. How do you stay engaged when so much has changed from the start of the season till now?
When you're a part of a team like this, it's always about winning for real. So as long as I keep my mind set on winning and trying to do whatever it takes to win, then everything else is gonna come. I work hard. I work hard besides practicing games and stuff. So, I mean, I just want to do whatever it takes to win.
Jaevin, what will you remember most from this year outside of getting to play with your cousin?
I mean, just playing in front of these fans. I mean, this is probably the greatest fans. I mean, just probably just take that away the most, is playing not only with him, but just with these guys here and just the fans.
Jarron and Tre, both of you tested the draft waters. You could graduate, you could have gone somewhere and played right away. What was it that brought both of you back here to play with John this season?
Well, for me, it was my senior year. Why not go out with a bang and just have fun? And I mean, ever since I came here, me and Tre had a good connection. Keith was also here, and it was why not just finish the year out with them? So that's why I came back.
When I found out Jarron was coming back, Keith told me that he was staying. They both was just basically saying they felt like we had unfinished business. And I felt the same, so I'm my last year with them two guys. Like my brothers, I love both of them to death, so I mean, why wouldn't I have wanted to come back again? Me and Coach Brannen, we knew each other before he recruited me, obviously. I know that. So I just felt like it was meant for me to stay here. I feel like he was brought back to with each other to play for me to play for him for a reason. I mean, I looked at it that way, so I stayed.
You're only fifth year. Obviously, you're not playing like an old man, but do you feel like it sometimes with this group? No?
Nah. I'm not the oldest on the team, to be honest with you.
Who's that?
But nah, I don't feel like I feel good.
Yeah.
This is one of the winningest programs in the history of college basketball, and you two are right behind Steve Logan as the winningest players in this program. Does that mean anything? Have you ever heard that stat? Do you think about, 4 wins away from tying him, 5 wins away from being the winningest players in program history? Does that resonate with you at all?
Not for real. I just found that out a few days ago, for real. But I mean, to be up there, that means a lot, for real. You be winners, say it like that, and whatever. And I'm not out here trying to let's go win these games just to pass Steve Logan, but our goal is obviously to pass him, to keep winning as much games as we can, so we could beat him. We could be number one, I guess. Yeah. That'd be big. Last year, I mean.
Nothing.
Same what he said.
Trey, you've been here for a long time, as kind of talked about already, but you've seen a lot, you've experienced a lot. How much do you, because we've seen it in your play, how much do you just want one more shot at the tournament to kind of see what you can do in one final shot this year?
We need it. Like, I feel like this team need it. I feel like once we get in the tournament, a lot of stuff will change for us. You know, because we were like, everybody on the edge right now saying like global team, global watch, or this or that. But honestly, I don't even know what none of that stuff means. But we all just want to get in the tournament, and I know personally, once we get in the tournament, we got the ability to make a big run. Everybody get healthy. It goes back to what I said when Jarron and Keith was like, we got unfinished business basically. And I feel like once we get in there, we got the ability, the talent, the heart, make something special happen, and I know that we can do it, like, without a doubt.
Anything else?
Either you guys have favorite memories, whether from this season or your entire careers?
I'll be honest with you, my favorite memory was what I just did last game. The free throw miss and dunk, that's my favorite memory. That's what I'll be honest with you.
Is that your favorite memory of him?
Yeah.
Did you have one? Houston last year, tournament, made it?
Yeah, that was one of the, I'll say that, and I'll say a really good memory this year, just having Coach Brannen as a first year, is just after winning a game or something, just seeing his dad always out there, like walking on the floor, being able to shake his hand and everything. That was a really good memory.